how do they get involved? How do they make that decision and stuff like that? Which I know, Muko, you are not able to do that. So for now, I'm just going to give two people. I can't see any questions yet, but I'm going to give two people. If you have a question to Muko, and just to understand how these village child justice committees they work, okay, and like how effective they are. I'm just going to give two people a question to answer. I've seen two hands up. Yati, and then I've seen Ndolo. So Ndolo, are you able to ask the question, starting with Yati?
Yati? No. I don't have any question for Modeo. But I like the model of the, involving the community from the local setup, the way they've done it in Lesotho. Yeah, but I don't have any question for her at the moment. Sorry. Maybe my hand was still up.
Okay, then lower it, please.
Okay, thank you.
And then is there? I've seen Grace. Grace, your hand is up.
Yes, my hand is up.
Yes.
I must commend the Lesotho model, where they have the children in their village justice committee. It appears that the village justice committee can also divert a case. So I wanted to know, what kind of cases is the village justice committee allowed to divert at the pretrial stage? That's my question.
Pretrial stage. That's a very interesting question. Muko?
Okay, let me explain that the village child justice committees, like I said before, they work on the case, on the petty offenses. And then I have demonstrated that the cases, if at the community level, they are unable to make a decision, they will take that case to the police station. And then if the police can or divert the case back to the community, if they feel and assess that both parties feel that they still have an opportunity. At the pre-trial, at the children's court, the magistrate, the prosecutors can be the ones who are diverting the case back to the village child justice committees to solve the matter in hand. And if the village child justice committees or the resolution is not actually reached, that's then when the village child justice committees will take the matter back to the children's court. I don't know whether I'm clear or I've answered the question.
Grace, I hope your question has been answered.
Yes, I'm satisfied.
Thank you so much, Grace. I can see a couple of questions have come in the chat, and one of them it's from how do you deal with a matter where a child is involved in an offense that also an adult is involved? And then yeah, I think are you able to that one for answer that one, Muko?
Okay, I think this one also from the colleagues, my colleagues from Children's Court, especially magistrates, I can attest that in all cases of children, where children are involved with the adults, they separate cases in all cases. Even at the village child justice committees, the cases can be separated and handled, and issues of children are handled as children only. And if the solution cannot be reached, is then that if the victim is not satisfied, remember that the resolution that can be completely and be done at the community level without involvement of magistrate are on the petty offenses. And on the serious offenses, those cases are taken to the normal, the criminal justice system. So at the community level, still, they can still separate the cases. And if the victim is satisfied, can even say, okay, I still feel like even the adults can compensate in a certain manner, but they cannot be in the same sitting in the village child justice committees. I must also add that this model that we are using, actually, it is built up on our customary law. We know our village under the justice under the tree that we know. So the diversion programs is not only allowed for children, even the adults, provided the victim allows, and provided that it's a petty offense that, like I said, appear in the Schedule 1 of the offenses. That would be the theft common, the housebreaking, the assault without previous bodily harm. Those are the cases that they handle. And some of the cases that are really matters that can be solved at the community level that involve the head boys and stuff like that. Like I mentioned, that most of the village child justice committees operate in the very hard to reach areas.
Thank you so much, Muko. The other question is, those in the committee as mediators, are they the traditional or professional trained, or both? That's an interesting question. Those in the committee, are they professional mediators or traditional, or are they trained or professionals? Muko?
Okay, the members of village child justice committees are adults and children in the communities that are selected by other members because of the characters and attributes and their interest on the issues of children and child protection. And then after the selection, now they are trained on different types of mediation by the probation officers, and they're intensively trained on the mediation, victim offender mediation, circle of healing, gathering how to mediate between different groups, if they're mediating between the individual or mediating between the bigger groups, how to handle the sessions, meaning they are adults in the community who just have interest and passion of issues of children. And then after being selected, then they are intensively trained on mediation. That is to say, if we can say we have professionals working there, we are trying so hard that the villagers themselves are able to make decisions on their own so that they can own the process. So they are not, and the challenge is, we cannot, as professionals, go there and maybe sometimes go, because of sometimes you don't have funds to visit these places more often. But the villagers themselves are there and talk about. In front of me, there's a reporting tool that shows that, okay, if after the mediation, this is what you have to jot down. And you have to be aware that the name of the child is not part of it's not in the reporting tool. They'll just report that, okay, we have this case, this sitting on this day, the child, the gender of this, the matter discussed is this, and this is the resolution, and then they sign. And as we go there and monitor the performance, we collect those reporting tools to assess whether the committees need to be empowered and sometimes resolve their where they feel like they're stumbling.
There's so many questions that are coming up. This is a very interesting. When you mention petty offenses, to which offenses are you referring to? In Lesotho, a child can be imprisoned for petty. I think this is someone from Lesotho, Tina, and Tina, I've seen your hand up. I think I'm going to give you a chance to speak. So there's another question: how are village justice committee facilitated? Is membership to these committees voluntary? What happens when the victim is not satisfied with the verdict of the village committee? Muko?
One thing that we have to be very careful is the wording. In the village child justice committees, we don't use the words like verdict, and then the solution. It's everybody is part of the solution. And everybody is taking the decision and the matter, the resolution is achieved by the victims and offender collectively. Like I said, if they are not satisfied, we are using the dual track model. That says we allow the restorative justice processes can go simultaneously with the conventional justice system. So if the victim is not satisfied, the session can be terminated at any given time and a person can opt out and follow the normal conventional justice system.
Finally, we're going to have Tina just for 2 seconds. You ask your question so that we can move on. Tina?
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. My name is Tina. I'm from Mozambique, and thank you for the invitation. No, I was just very curious to understand a little bit more about when Moko refers to petty offenses, what kind of offenses are those? And maybe you have already mentioned, but I didn't maybe follow right. I was just curious to understand about if a child can be imprisoned for the commission of an offense, and what is the age of criminal responsibility, just to have a better understanding of the system. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Moko?
Okay, after my presentation, I would love everyone to download the Lesotho Children's Protection and Welfare Act of 2011. It's available online, you can easily access it. And then you will show the Schedule 1 of all the offenses that can be solved at the community level. They are clear in there. And if I may say, there are offenses that cannot be, if in a monetary wise, they cannot, if the case come to court, cannot be over 1,000 malit or rents. Those are the cases that are said to be petty. So I would love everyone to go back and download our act. And it also has the different sections, I think from section 120 on the village child justice committees, and you will learn more and the structuring and how the functions, they are more elaborated in them. Okay, in Lesotho Children's Protection and Welfare Act, the age of criminal responsibility. At the age of 10, I just hope everybody will understand me clearly. A child can appear before the court. However, the magistrate has to be very, 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 very sure that this child is able to, during the time when he or she was committing the matter that is brought before the magistrate, the child understands is able to differentiate between the right and wrong. And then if the child is able to differentiate between the right and wrong, and then the magistrate ascertains that really this child understands what he was doing, then the child can appear, and of which is really in rare cases. So for us here, that is between the age of 10 and 40. And then at the age of 14, a child can appear in the children's court and then go through the processes. And I must say, it is in rare cases that you may find very, very young children in our system, because, like I said, we use the restorative justice processes and opt for the criminal justice system as the last resort, or institutionalization as the last resort. If I may add, according to our statistics, we have less than 40 children in detention center countrywide as it is. And then most of the children are diverted at the community level. It's because our magistrate in children's court, they really, really work well with the probation officers, prosecutors, and encourage diversion. And I think that shows networking and cooperation between different players in the justice sector. So that's how most of our children are are serving the non-custodial, and most of their cases are diverted. And these children who are at the centers, it's because actually the institutionalization was as the last resort. And in our system, children are not imprisoned. They are committed to juvenile training center, not with to the period between 9 months and less than 3 years. So we don't imprison children. The magistrate will just commit a child to juvenile training center. And while in there, the rehabilitation officers in there will decide whether that child is rehabilitated enough. Minimum, it could be from the period of 9 months or not above 3 years in the center.
Thank you so much, Muko. Can we all give Muko a clap? I'm sure there is a clap icon somewhere on Zoom. Can we just, an amazing job for giving us, you learn something new every single day. So you learn, like for me, this has been such a learning. And I'm thinking I was part of the team that did the Kenya Children's Bill, and I'm thinking because it's not passed, it's something that we can be able to add, something where justice starts at the community, and we do a lot of diversion. Instead of taking children to the police station, we can work with the Nyumba Kumi. Just my brain is just. And as we talk about Kenya, our next speaker is from Kenya, Honorable Viola, and she has been acclaimed for some of the most amazing, innovative strategies of ensuring child justice system. Okay, Kevin. So Honorable Viola is going to speak. Viola is a magistrate at the Tononoka Children's Court. I'm waiting for Kevin. So he's Kevin. Kevin.
Yes.
The project, Dr. Honorable Viola's.
Okay, fine.
So she's going to be speaking to us her experience working with the children in the justice system in Kenya. Let me just go. So Honorable Viola has been working in the Children's Court since 2017, a strong advocate. Let me tell you, this woman, she is a strong advocate of children's rights. She's a graduate of law from Moi University and currently pursuing a master's in public policy and administration. Before joining the judiciary, she worked as a state counsel and a private practitioner. Let's all welcome Honorable Viola and my friends Taji and Temi. Welcome you to have this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And as indicated, my name is Viola Yator. I am a children's magistrate in Kenya. In our area here, they call me Mama Watoto, that is a children's mom. And I prepared some slides, and I think they can be projected so that we can go through together. All right, as a form of introduction, I will introduce the concept of the Court Users Committee. It's otherwise known as CUC. It is a model that was established under Section 35 of the Kenya Judicial Service Act number 1 of 2011. Okay, the same section provides for the establishment of the National Council for Administration of Justice. Its purpose was to ensure a coordinated, efficient, effective, and consultative approach in the administration of justice and transformation of the justice system. That is as a form of introduction. We can move to the next slide. Okay, the CUCs are an interagency platform that brings together actors and users in the justice sector in order to enhance public participation, stakeholder engagement, development of public understanding of court operations, and promotion of effective justice sector partnerships for a coordinated, efficient, effective approach in the administration of justice. Okay, the court users committees in Kenya have been established in different levels, being the High Court, the Magistrates Court, and other courts like the special courts like the Children's Court, the County Courts, and the Kadis Courts, as well as the tribunals. When we go to the CUC membership, there is a list there, and in our country, the presiding judge or the head of the High Court is the chair of the CUC. That is when it comes to the CUC of the High Court. And in the case of a magistrate's court, the chair is the head of station. And the others are the other membership include the judges, the judicial officers, the Office of the Attorney General, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, the National Police Service, Kenya Prison Service, Probation and Aftercare Services, Witness Protection Agency, representatives of the national government in the counties, and Commission on the Administrative of Justice, the Independent Policing and Oversight Authority, Gender and Equality Commission, Kenya National Human Rights Commission, Department of Children's Services, Law Society, Ethics, among others. And from time to time, just to add, we co-opt other members on need basis. We co-opt like the NGOs, the human rights organizations on need basis. And for the membership of the Court Users Committee is normally 35 members, and they should not be less than 15 members. So, okay, Tononoka Court, where I sit, is a children's court, and it is one of the only 2 specialized courts in Kenya. The other one being the Milimani Children's Court that is based in Nairobi. It was established specifically to deal with cases of children in conflict with the law, as well as those in need of care and protection away from the main court, so as to give priority and special attention to children in a bid to enhance access to justice within the juvenile justice system. So the court, it handles, the Tononoka Court handles cases emanating from 3 counties, that is Mombasa County, Kilifi, and Kwale County. So in the past, we experienced the children getting lost in the justice system since they get mixed up with adults, and therefore leading to delay in their cases because of the mix-up, being mixed up together with all other cases, the civil cases, the criminal cases that are being handled together at the main court with the adults and so forth. So for the Children's Court, we are guided by the Children's Act number 2001, where the court derives its mandate from. And the jurisdiction of this court mainly is parental responsibility, fostering, adoption is within is for the High Court, custody and maintenance, guardianship application, protection and care cases, of course, as well as the children in conflict with the law. So it also makes a provision for the administration of children institutions to give effect to the principles of the Convention on the Children's Rights and the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Children, as indicated in the acts that have been listed there. So to enhance the delivery of justice for children, our court in conjunction with our CUC, we came up with best practices to ensure that our children take the shortest time possible within the court, and their cases are handled in a more faster and efficient way. So to do that, the Tononoka CUC has employed some strategies, and one of them is holding a regular quarterly CUC meetings, or on need basis, to address the emerging administration of justice issues. What we've done as a court users committee is to ensure that we hold our quarterly meetings without fail, and not just once, but if there is need that comes by, we do a special CUC meeting. We have also had stakeholder capacity building in topical and emerging justice issues. And as Tononoka CUC, we've trained ourselves on many issues touching on children. We've trained ourselves on diversion, plea bargaining, the Children's Act, among other areas that are of importance to us and to our children. Also, to protect the best interest of the child, we've devised a way of hearing matters during school holidays. That is where the matters have reached the court, and mostly the cases that proceed for hearing are mostly the sexual offenses cases. And to protect the interest of the children, both the offender as well as the victim, we hear their matters during school holidays on priority, so that we don't interfere with their studies for those, because we, as a CUC, we found that if we hear the cases during school period, it becomes difficult to get the attendance, because some of them are in boarding schools, some of them are maybe in a country, so we fix our matters during school holidays. And then, because also why we do that is because our remand facilities do not provide academic programs for children whose matters are ongoing. Another strategy that the Court Users Committee has done to ensure that we give access to justice to our children is to hold annual open days to demystify the courts and other stakeholders' roles. The Tononoka CUC, we've always ensured that we have at least one open day per year, although it has been affected by COVID-19, but when things were okay, we would hold an open day, like once every year, where we open the court the whole day, and we invite members of the public together with all our stakeholders, where they come ask questions, and we explain to them everything that happens within the court and the role of various stakeholders. Also, we've been doing service weeks, whereby we dedicate an entire week towards dealing with case backlog. So particularly for the criminal matters, where we dedicate one full week for just for hearing of children cases. Those are children in conflict with the law. Although we also have another 1 week for the civil cases, that is custody and maintenance and other applications. So we do it once a year. Most of the time we do it the month of November, and we target like 100 cases that week. We also call for assistance from other magistrates, where they come and help us in hearing the matters. So also as a way of ensuring that the children are not dragged to the court process, we've employed the issue of diversion, although it is new, but we've trained ourselves, and we've been ensuring that the less serious cases, all of them are diverted where possible, and the same is done in conjunction with the Office of the DPP, the Probation Department, and the Children's Department, to ensure that we divert as many cases as possible, so that only cases that are serious in nature proceed for hearing. We also offer psychosocial support to needy children who attend court. At our court, the CUC created enough space, and we have offices we have a counseling office, and our stakeholders, our partners, on need basis, give us counselors when we need it. And our children are counseled within the court premises. We have offices, we have 3 offices where our children can get psychosocial support from our counselors, who have been given to us by our stakeholders and our partners. We are also running a pro bono scheme that supports a pro bono scheme which is offered by the government, where all children in conflict with the law, whose cases proceed, or even those cases that are diverted, get representation from the government at the expense of the state. And it is running so well, and as we speak, no child that has been charged with a criminal
Madam Yatol, I think your mic is switched off. Kindly you could switch it on. Yeah.
Sorry. Yes. I hope you heard about the pro bono scheme.
Yes, we did, where every child is represented.
Okay, we can now move to the next slide. We also have the court annexed mediation program, and this one particularly deals with the civil cases, the custody and maintenance, and what happens in the court. The judiciary started the program, and we are one of the courts that are implementing, and we ensure that all cases are screened. All civil cases that come before us are screened, and those that are fit to be referred to mediation are referred to mediation, and the mediators are paid by the government. So we have also been doing sensitization campaigns to ensure and to enhance community awareness on topical and legal issues. We've been doing radio talk shows in conjunction with the CUC partners and the other stakeholders, and on sensitizing the members of the public on emerging issues, legal issues, court processes, and all others. Okay, in a bid to make the children comfortable at the court, the CUC, in conjunction with our partners, most notably we have the Safer Kenya, we have ensured that there is a playground for children. We have also inscribed articles of the Constitution on the perimeter wall, and as well as there is beautification of the court waiting lobby to make it as child-friendly as possible. Because as indicated earlier, we have counseling rooms probation and children office. We have also mediation rooms within the court precincts. Next slide. Okay. Notably, in all criminal matters, a care and protection file is normally opened to take care of both the offender and the victim, as opposed to how the adult cases are handled. So this takes care of every child's welfare to ensure growth and development in both those for the children in conflict with the law, as well as for the protection and care cases. So for every case that is brought, for every offender, for every victim, for every child in need of care and protection, we open a protection and care file where, with the guidance of the children department and the probation department, we give a proposal on how to protect and help that child. If it's counseling, if it's medical attention, the protection and care file is there together for that. Next slide. So as I stated earlier, apart from the regular quarterly CUC meetings, we've been having extra meetings, special meetings on need basis with the support from the judiciary as well as our partners. This has ensured sustainability of access to justice for the best interest of the child within the juvenile justice system. Next slide. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and in a bid to ensure access to justice within our system, we've been running virtual hearing sessions as a measure towards curbing the spread of corona, and also to ensure that the cases that have been filed in court proceed for hearing and are concluded despite the pandemic. So we are also participating in the Area Advisory Council in all our sub-counties within the court, where we discuss matters affecting children and the way they should be addressed at the community level. The running of pro bono, I think I talked about it in all criminal matters. Use of intermediaries. In special circumstances, the court has been allowing intermediaries to assist the children communicate with the court as a way of ensuring that the child's voice is heard. This happens where the child is unable to speak during maybe hearing of their cases. We've promoted the use of intermediaries where the children can speak and give their evidence without being intimidated. Next slide. Okay, to ensure also that our children participate well during their maybe hearing of their cases or mention of their protection and care matters, we have the CUC in conjunction with our partners have started a feeding program where we supply our children with milk and snacks when they come to court. So this is to ensure that the children are okay even as they wait for their cases to proceed in court. We are also doing online filing of pleadings. That is to help to curb the spread of COVID-19. We have also opened space and to allow corporates to exercise their corporate social responsibilities. so that we are less dependent on the government. For example, the things we've done in the court, of course, by our partners and our CUC members, the infrastructure, beautification of the court, the establishment of the police, gender desk at the police stations, children desks, and the same have been made child friendly. And then we are also working towards concluding children matters within 6 months where possible. So as I indicated earlier, because of the issue of schooling, we may not realize the 6 months period 6 as developed by we have the best practices of ensuring that we complete the matters within 6 months. We have practice directions that were gazetted by the CJ. So in a bid to ensure that we do that, we ensure that we work towards clearing those cases within the shortest time possible. So also we have been conducting radio talk shows in a bid to create public awareness on topical issues to members of the public. That has been done by the members of the CUC. We've also done Legal Aid Week. Recently, we did the CUC in conjunction with the University of Nairobi organized a Legal Aid Week where we offered free legal advice to litigants, and the same acts to demystify to the members of the public what happens in the court, and also it aids in gaining confidence in the juvenile justice system. So as a result of the activities that have been done by the CUCs, the public perception and of course the public feedback has been good on the workings of the court. And also we've been able to promote interagency collaboration with the probation department, Department of Children's Services, police, prison, and others. Next slide. So I would wish to recognize some stakeholders and their roles that have been part of the Tononoka CUC. We have the CEFA through the funding of Italian Cooperation for Development, which deals with diversion of children cases in a bid to reduce institutionalization of children. It has also played a big role in making Tononoka Court a child-friendly, financing training of CUC agencies, infrastructural development of gender and children offices at the police station, purchase of furniture and beds for children, sales at the police station, promotion of family group counseling sessions to promote victim offender mediation, financing of area advisory council sessions, among other support. Next. We have also the coast mediators, where they've been supporting in with regard to especially the civil cases as a way of promoting alternative dispute resolution. We have the Clear Kenya, a Christian lawyers advocates that offer free legal advice, draft pleadings on behalf of vulnerable litigants, etc. And then we have the Trace Kenya, that is an NGO that deals with commercial sexual exploitation of children, support family caregivers through livelihood, empowerment, school support and reintegration. We have also the National Legal Aid Service. It is a government legal aid entity that does legal representation, mediation, case follow-ups, referrals, and legal representation at the cost of the state. We also have the LSK, the Law Society of Kenya Mombasa chapter, which has been helping with the promotion of representation of litigants, and according to the court's pro bono lawyer scheme to ensure to enhance access to justice to children in conflict with the law, and also those in need of care and protection. We have also the FIDA. FIDA Kenya is advocating for the rights of women and children in matters access to justice. We also have another one called Muhuri, which is a Muslim organization that does human rights work. We have Haki Africa, which promotes partnership between state and non-state actors. We also have Haki Yetu. It is an organization that is dealing with land, housing, gender, and the law, among other areas. And also the UNODC, United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, ICRH, International Center for Reproductive Health. Basically, it deals with the issues of sexual violence and sexual reproductive health. We also have the US Department of Justice, among so many other stakeholders that have not managed to list. I think that one brings us, sorry. We are
Hello? Have we lost Honorable Viola? Or is it me?
I think
Hear you.
we can hear you. I think Honorable Viola is not there. Maybe the network has some problem. I think anyway she was moving towards the last slide. Some of the photos you're seeing there are some of the infrastructural improvements that have been done. And I think in her presentation, she had mentioned about inscriptions of parts of the Constitution of Kenya and the articles that protect the children, some lifted from the Constitution, some lifted also from the Children's Act. And basically that exhibits how the court was looking a little bit before. I think in 2019, I was there, part of that team. And we helped to do some renovations and also the playground that she had mentioned. So those photos are basically representing that. And the last one is representing the family conference, the model of people coming together to resolve children issues at the community level. Yeah, you may go on, Jennifer.
Thank you so much. Listening to Viola, you can see there's so much that is already going on in ensuring child justice. The CUC is an amazing platform. I think I've attended a few, and the way they insist on the importance of putting children at the center. Okay, so issues to do discussing how can we improve our courts to be more child friendly, and this has resulted to like the Murang'a court, where they have a booth that helps children to participate. It's all painted. The Milimani court, where it's open, it's very chic. Children are offered food, during they just don't stay. They are given food by members of the CUC. Okay, and the justice officers, judicial officers, I'm talking from police all the way to magistrate, are more aware on the needs of children. Okay, so they are more aware on what children need than so that they can be able to improve children. So I don't know, Madam Viola, are you back?
Jennifer, I'm just communicating at the back with her. Apparently, the power, there's a power blackout, so that's why she's not able to come back. She has indicated once it comes back, she will be able to join. And also because there are some questions that I saw them coming, she might be.
There are so many questions, and I'm looking through the participant if I can see anybody from the any just magistrate or judge, and I can't see because they would really have helped us to answer some of these questions. I can't see a judge, or I wish Rosaline had joined this because some of these questions should have been able to answer. So anyway, so we just have to wait for Honorable Viola to join back for us to be able to answer, for her to be able to answer some of them. There's amazing questions. I can see issues to do why only 2 court stations that have CUCs. I don't think there are only 2 court stations, Hannah. They are, I think almost all courts have a CUC. What I think you're asking is about the children's court. Yeah, there are very few. So, but the CUCs are in almost every court in Kenya. Is there separate funding? Yes, there's a separate funding for CUCs. I know the ACJJ, when they're doing their budget, they include a budget for CUCs. So I think from 2 years back, there's been a budget for CUCs, a government budget for CUCs, but I know partners and donors do come in to support and fund the activities of the CUC. Being part of the ACJJ task force on children, I know they are funded by different ones. Like I know the Nairobi Milimani Court, the Children's Court, is funded by a couple of people to make sure that it's more child friendly. And I think Patrick you can attest to that. So there are CUCs. CUCs is part of the NCAJ's it's called Justice Reform Sector or something of that sort. So if there's no a CUC in a court near you, you can go there and ask, why don't you have a CUC? And probably you can just bring in a few people and do that. How does the pro bono scheme work? I think we'll just have to wait for Madam Viola. Oh, she's back. Madam Viola to answer that question. Madam Viola, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. Sorry for that. We had power failure within our court and we are using Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's thank you so much for coming back. I don't know if you're going to finish up your presentation. I was trying to answer your questions. I've answered a few, but I think you'll go on and answer a few more.
Yes, I was showing the participants the way the court is now. If you can see the wall, the way it was before, you can see there is a person there who is doing some painting. This was a playground area before it was renovated. Even here, before it was renovated. And then now, afterwards, this is how it looks. We have some inscriptions, like the Article 53(2) of the Constitution. You can see it there. You can also see the playground, the swings, and the cartoons, the pictures. Yes, maybe you can scroll down. Yeah, basically, I think those are the photographs that they managed to project, but we have a lot of pictures. So the parting shot is that the Tononoka Children's Court was awarded as the overall best performing court in the category of courts handling children matters only in the year 2016-2017, and also 2019-2020. We are also hoping that the court will perform well for the year 2020-2021. We are yet to, the awards are yet to be given. So I think for that, thank you so much. So I welcome questions.
Thank you so much, Honorable Viola. I can see hands up, but can we start working with the questions that are on the chat? There are so many. So I'm going to pick a few. I don't think we are going to be able to answer all of them. But I'm sure Honorable Viola, when we are going on, she was going to go into the chat and try to answer as many questions as possible. Honorable Viola, there are quite a number of questions. I think I'll start with one that I've seen right now about the ODPP. What is the role of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution in enhancing justice? The person says they have noticed they are missing in the list of court users. I think that's a quick one. I'm sure that's a quick one. Honorable Viola, are you still there? Or we've lost you again?
There.
Okay.
Yes.
Does the ODPP play a role?
They play a very important role. I don't, if it was left out, I think the DPP is among the government entities that we listed above. I think
okay.
On the first few slides.
Okay.
Of course, it is a very important institution because they are the ones who prosecute the cases that come before us.
Okay.
And, yes.
Okay, and there's a question here who's saying, how many do you have an idea the number of children who are incarcerated in the country? Do you have an idea?
No, that one I have no idea because, but I can get the statistics, but for now I do not have.
Okay.
But we don't incarcerate, we commit,
okay.
Just as Lesotho does. We don't incarcerate, we commit, and most of it is actually the last resort. It is the last resort where the other options are not available or the child is cannot be helped by other ways. It is actually the last resort. So where that happens, those children, depending on their age, like in Kenya, if you are between 15 and 18, we put you at the postal institution. So
okay.
It is actually the last resort in Kenya. It is the last way of punishing an offender here.
Thank you so much for insisting that the incarceration is as a last resort. Oh, I've seen Rosalina, she's already answered that all courts have CUCs. I didn't clearly understand child CNP file opening for victims. Is it for children's victims of crime, even in adult cases where the offender is an adult and the victim is a child? So I think that one you explain a little bit. Good job on the Tononoka. People are impressed with the work that you're doing at Tononoka CUC.
Okay, let me answer on the issue of the protection and care file. Normally, all children, the Tononoka court, let me start by explaining what a purely children's court does. Children's court only deals with cases where the children are the offenders. We don't use the word accused, but where the children are in conflict with the law. So where a child is in conflict with the law, they are brought to the children's court. So at the children's court, we open a file, a protection and care file for that child because he's still a child, whether he committed an offense or not. We also open a protection and care file in cases of sexual abuse, we open a file for the victim. And for the other court, the court that deals with the adults, like the Mombasa court, where the victim is a child and the accused person is an adult, a protection and care file is opened in Tononoka court. But basically what should happen, it should be opened regardless of where they are. So as long as a child is involved, a protection and care file should be opened in that court.
So there's someone who is asking here, the Romeo and Juliet case, what about a 12-year-old who sexually assaults another child? So I think that's how do you go? I think that's a common question, and I think let's just answer it so that we can remove it from people's mind. We don't get it again, because I think I've seen it twice come through the chats. So
Yes.
just answer it, and then yeah.
Yes, for the Romeo and Juliet cases, we open a protection and care file. We call for a children officer's report, and we get a recommendation. And most of the time, the recommendation is that those two children should be taken through counseling. And in that particular case, we follow up through the protection and care case to ensure that the two children are taken for counseling and a report is availed in court before that file is closed. As to the progress of the counseling and the final recommendation from the counselor.
Thank you, Honorable Viola. I've seen Rosaline Kabata, who is the coordinator of the ACJJ Special Task Force on Children Matters. And I want her to answer the two questions that I've seen pop out about, do we have CCUs in all children, in all courts? And number two, funding of the CUCs. Are they, where is there enough funding? Is there an allocation? I had mentioned it, but Rosaline probably can say a bit more. Rosaline? You can unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much, Jenny, and the panelists for the great discussion that we're having today. And I really appreciate Shepa for the initiative to organize these webinars. We are learning a lot as practitioners. And for the Children Court User Committees, what we did as the task force is to encourage all the courts to have specific Children Court User Committees. Some of them noted that they would want it as an agenda in their main CUC, but what we are saying is that all court user committees should have a Children Court User Committee so that they can focus on children. And it should be chaired by a magistrate or an officer who is very keen on children matters, especially the magistrates, so that they can focus on the issues of children. We've noted that when the children issues are lumped up with other issues in the courts or in the justice system, children are often forgotten. So that's why we've encouraged all court user committees to have a specific Children Court User Committee that's separate. And we're in the process of developing the Children Court User Committee guidelines. And this is being done as a collaboration between the Legal Resources Foundation, the NCAJ Special Task Force on Children Matters, and the NCAJ Court User Committee Special Working Group. And we'll be disseminating this for validation and consultation with the other court user committees. And we hope that it's going to help all the courts to have a Children Court User Committee and be able to manage it. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Rosaline. I don't see if we have hands up. If you really, really, really want to talk, you can talk. But if you don't want, if your question, if your questions have not been answered, please also let me know. So I'm going to move to the next speaker. The next speaker is my friend. He's from Kampala in Uganda, my country, Uganda. So, and he is so passionate about children. Like this guy, he's, people say women are passionate about children, but Damon is a guy who I know he's worked, like he has done some of the initiatives that he has done. Nobody can ever pay him for some of the things that he has done. So I'm going to introduce Damon Wamara. He is the coordinator of Uganda Child Rights Network. He's over 15 years of experience. I'm just waiting for it to project before I say the wrong thing. He's the executive director of the Uganda Child Rights Network. And then he prior to joining Uganda Child Rights Network, he was executive director and country director of Dwelling Places, a Christian NGO organization that works in Uganda with street-connected children and children from high-risk families. During his tenure at the helm of the organization, over 1,800 children have been rescued and integrated back in their families and into schools to receive skills, formal and informal, and empowered 7,000 with knowledge and information. Dwelling Places now sits at the national on the National Task Force on Prevention and Trafficking of Persons and Alternative Care think tank, where Damon represented the voice. And also, Damon, what is not in what is projected, and I know Damon is the current chair of the East African Child Rights Network, a network of coalitions on child rights in East Africa, and is also the secretary of the African Child Rights Network, which pushes for child rights in Africa. Welcome, Damon.
Thank you very much, Jenny. And thank you for recognizing that we are good friends. Now Patrick knows that I was not trying to tie on you, and knows that actually we are good friends. Good morning to each and every one of you. It's hard for me to speak after such powerful presentations by Lesotho and Kenya. I'm particularly very, very impressed with with what the presentation from Lesotho had shared. I have learned a lot, and definitely, like Jenny said, would want to pick on a couple of things. So my presentation, Jenny, I hope I'm loud and clear enough.
You're super. Thank you, Damon.
Okay, great. So my presentation is going to be around the networking. As you've heard, I work for Uganda Child Rights NGO Network. And so currently my work is around networking. And we know that this platform right now is looking at how we can build a strong network around the access to justice for the juveniles. So just a little bit, definitely my experience or my presentation is going to be based on the work that I'm doing, both at country level and also at the Eastern Africa level. And I'll throw in a bit at the African Union level, how our engagement as a network escalates to the highest point in Africa. So Uganda Child Rights Network is a coalition of over 200 child-focused organizations, and we have community-based organizations. We have also international national organizations, and also the international organizations working on the welfare and rights of children. Our work started in 1997, and the whole work started around the coming up with the NGO alternative report to the government report to the UN committee, UNCRC committee. And by 2019, we had registered 200 organizations that were part of us. Our vision is to see a society where every child's rights are realized. And how do we do this? We believe we can achieve this together through the allocation and promotion of children's rights, specifically in Uganda. And our strategy is in twofold. One, 70% of our members and other child-focused organizations are supported effectively, and then also that we have built the capacity to deliver our mandate as a network in our work around. Why do we network, and why is the suggestion coming on networking, and why are we actually in this forum? Why are we having this conversation? A famous proverb, African proverb by that gentleman, I will not tamper to present to mention his other name. I will just keep it to Paul. Said that if we want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go very far, move together. So if we want to see a place where our children are accessing justice, and even if your child or my child ends up into the system, God forbid, we ensure that our children have a safe system and that they will not fall on the wrong side of the system and all that. We need to work together and ensure that we can protect the children of our country and of our African continent. What do networks do? Networks, specifically Uganda Child Rights NGO Network, which also is the national network for Uganda, but Tanzania, I had somebody mention the network for Tanzania, CARC, and then we also have TCF in Tanzania. We have Umwana Usonga in Rwanda, to mention but a few. But most of the African countries have child rights networks, just like Uganda Child Rights NGO Network in Uganda. And our work, most of our work is around the same ideology. One is to have collective advocacy, not an organizational advocacy, but collective advocacy, where we create a platform for people to have the collective voice on certain issues. At this point, it could be the issue on access to justice. The second is building strategic alliances. And this is how do we get into different partnerships at the national level, at the Eastern Africa level, and at the global level. How do we get into these engagements, and how do we engage, and how do we connect with these different forums? And I'll be showing you some of the different connections that are there as a network that we end up presenting ourselves. But it also creates an opportunity for us to learn from what other people are doing. So there is a lot of research and knowledge management. What are the cases we have heard about Lesotho? That is a very, very good example of what study we can engage on and share with the different networks, the different countries, on how things are applying. Likewise in Kenya, because in Uganda, I'll tell you, we do not have children's courts. Our cases are handled under the family court. But hearing that our neighbor, usually we like saying the other district of East Africa, is having the children's court, is there a measure that we can also come in and ensure that we have it across, and it is happening at all levels in our country, in our continent, in our country, and that research and that knowledge management. Then creating the space for engagement as people with a common agenda. The network presents that common space. People who have the same ideology, have the same thinking, and want to achieve the same goals. Whether you are in government, whether you're in the private sector, whether you're wherever you are, and you have that common goal, you just quickly engage in this. It creates that space for us to engage in. So, how does the Uganda Child Rights NGO Network function? What do we do? How do we engage? So we engage at different levels. And I'll start with the national level. At the national level, as a network, we're made up of, I've already told you, of close to 200 organizations. And these 200 organizations engage right from the grassroots. And the engagement right from the grassroots enables us to have the engagement from the grassroots the engagement of the grassroots helps us to gather the information, to gather the experiences, to gather the challenges, and bring them and escalate them to the national level for our informed advocacy. Then that goes to the national level engagement and the district level engagement. The CBOs at the grassroots engage the districts, and then the districts are then able to have their own goals set, the advocacy at the district that matches the district level, then the national level, what happens at the national level, what are the issues that escalate to government level, that need legislative agenda, that need policy change. And I'll tell you that most of the legislative change and policy change that we have seen as a nation has not been specifically for Uganda Child Rights NGO Network. It has actually been one that is a national agenda, one that is about what even the government officials want to see as a change. And then what the government is saying, what the government officials are saying is also what we as CSOs are saying. And there's that one voice for the sake of that one child. So the child unites us as one, for us to be able to speak as one voice. What government says, what we say, and we're collaborating and we're helping each other out to ensure that we have an environment that is safe for our children to thrive. Then when you go to continental engagements, here is where we have the Eastern Africa engagements, we have the AU engagements, and we have what we call the REX, the regional economic groups that are engaging, like the Eastern Africa. We have the East Africa community that is coming up, and then we have the IGAD, we have the African Committee of Experts, we have the African Commission on Human and People Rights. In this space, UCRNN then brings the issues that are affecting at national level, and then engages and have not been addressed at national level, and we see are issues that are cutting across. How do we know this? By the sharing of information, like what we're sharing and what we're gaining. It ends up giving us a platform of what should be ideal for the African child. So we have the Eastern Africa Child Rights Network, where I'm the chairperson of the board. And under this network, we have Eastern Africa engagements. We engage with the Eastern Africa community. We engage with the IGAD, which is a regional rec around the issues on migration and also sharing and also and also economic growth. And then we have the African Union level. At the African Union level, we have the different committees that we engage with, and we're able to engage with that through the CSO forum, which Jenny is one of actually the active members under that. And then we also have the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, where we're also able to raise the key issues that have not been dealt with or have failed to be dealt with at the country level. So it provides those different opportunities on how we can still help children access justice. Then you have also the international level engagement. The networking goes up to the international level. So you have the United Nations Charter on the Rights of the Child, which you know is our Bible as people working in the area of child rights. And then you also have the Human Rights Council, and that is done through the UPR processes, which I know many countries have just completed. I know Kenya completed the UPR process, and Uganda has just completed their UPR process, and we hope to present next year. We have Child Connect that helps us connect with the United Nations Committee of Experts on the Rights of Children. And then we also have the CSO Forum on ending violence against children, which is also a global agenda to end all forms of violence against children. These are the forms of network. So when you start from the country level, you start from the district level, you start from the grassroots level, the issues are raised to the national level. What can be dealt with at national level is dealt with at national level, but we know that there are certain issues that cannot be dealt with at national level and are moved to the next level, which would be the African Union level, which would move to the next level until we actually see that children are able to, rights are able to be addressed. But also they act as platforms for us to be able to share how we can, what are the best practices happening in different countries, and then how do we pick on those best practices? How do we make our environments, wherever we are, whichever country we are, how do we make those environments conducive and a best place for our children to thrive, to access justice, but also after accessing justice, they're able to access the necessary help that they need to get so as to achieve their full potential as a child through the process. Now, when we talk about the national level engagements, I've talked much about this. Here it is more of information gathering from the grassroots organizations. The grassroots who are actually practicing and doing the engagements are able to share with us what are the issues that are coming from there, what are the issues they have dealt with at the district level, are the common issues with other areas in the country, and they cause a policy transformation, can they cause a policy change, and then it is able to help in influencing policy change. For example, in 2016, we saw the amendment of the Children's Act in Uganda. Then in 2021, we saw the passing of the Human Sacrifice Act. In 2021, just in January this year, the Human Sacrifice Act that was passed. All these were engagements of working together as a network of organizations, coming together under the same cause, and also working with government, because we wanted to ensure that children are able to access justice, that children's issues are covered wherever they are in legislation and are able to be pushed on further. And I know that, for example, this Human Sacrifice Act having come into place is one of the biggest cases happening now in Uganda of one of the gentlemen in Masaka, an area called Masaka, that went and sacrificed over 15 children. And right now the case is being heard, and he has been denied bail, has been denied every opportunity, even right to the High Court, because of this Human Sacrifice Act. That is what happens when you come together, identify gaps together, and engage on influencing policy change, and then the policy comes or the laws come into change, legislative change comes into place, and then the courts are able to use that, and it's a collaborative effort. And at the end, we see that the children's rights are protected. Then we also have the National Child Policy 2020 that was passed last year, which is a holistic approach. It covers the whole issue, the whole well-being of the child. So we're moving away, as Uganda, we're moving away from this issue of dividing children and saying no, children in health, children in current affairs. We want the whole agenda, the whole well-being of children into one policy, and then it is managed at that level by the different actors, the different ministries. And so that is also another collaborative effort where CSOs and the government were able to engage effectively and have their voices pushed on this. Then the other is engagement on the national task forces. One is the task force in ending on combating trafficking in persons, combating child labor, combating engaging and ensuring that the national child policy is passed. So you have the forums, those are the engagements, the stakeholder engagements. You have the opportunity, you have a voice, because they know that there are people who are speaking as one. They then give you a platform. Government and ministries and groups are tired of hearing different people coming with their own different agenda. But once you come together and agree that, look, this is my problem, this is my problem, let's have one voice, let's present one issue to the different bodies. Then you're invited into the spaces that are not usually open to the whole country and to everyone else. Because you're together as a network and you're speaking as one and you're presenting your issues, you're able to have those opportunities and engagements at the different levels. At the continental and international levels, we have the ESC, like I said, and under the ESC, there's also the child policy that was passed, and also IGAD. I know that for sure, like Eastern Africa Child Rights Network worked so hard in 2018 and 2019 as part of 2020 to see that the IGAD was able to ensure that they added the issues around child protection, including having child protection protocols. And this was because the member country organizations from the member countries were able to present a collective paper to show IGAD that there is need for them to plan and ensure that children are protected, even as they're planning for economic growth, even as they're planning for the migration and everything. What are the protocols on child protection? And we were able to enter that space because we had one collective voice. Even likewise for the African community of experts, like I mentioned, from the national level, you have the national networks. At the regional level, we have the regional networks. Ours in Eastern Africa is ESCRN, Eastern Africa Child Rights Network. And then at the continental level, we actually engage under the CSO Forum. And we also have one agenda that we are sharing at the CSO Forum. And this has given us space that at every single sitting of the committee of experts, the CSO Forum is recognized and is given a slot to present key remarks and highlight key issues that they want to raise with the committee for the committee to consider. And over the years, we have seen that the committee has diligently engaged with us and has been able to capture very many of the key issues that we think the committee needs to follow up on, and have been able to make recommendations or pass down the issues to the different countries where we have had reservations about the way they are engaging on different things. Issues around child marriage, issues around children being denied their rights. We are able to raise this through the CSO Forum. And again, we are one voice. So it's not Uganda Child Rights Network going alone. We have that opportunity. We can go alone when Uganda is being reviewed, but when it comes to the continental conversation, we go as one, the CSO Forum, and we're able to present those issues to the community. Having said all of that, what are the opportunities that are on ground? And this is one of my last slides. When you look at the opportunities that are on ground, we see that the issue of access to justice is very little, and I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Jenny, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the issues around access to justice, there is very little or no engagement at all on this issue at the African Union level. Are we ensuring that if we migrate from Uganda and move to Lesotho, is my child going to still be safe? If your child moves from Lesotho, where there are children's courts, and then they come to Uganda where we don't have any children's court, and it is just, just general, are we sure that our children will be safe whichever country they go to in Africa? How do we make an Africa fit for children, where children can access justice, even if my child has been, God forbid, God really, really forbid, my child has been trafficked into another country? What are the conditions? What is my safety net that we shall ensure that we have engaged with all the African countries? We have the same policies, probably legislation. We have engaged and we have captured those key things that we have learned, and we're able to see and pass, so that every child who comes into contact with the law is able to access the best service at all levels. Then the engagement with the different avenues that are presented to us. Sometimes, and I'm not saying this in all places, but sometimes the children fail to get their justice at the country level. They have gone to the lowest level, whether it is from the community court to the magistrate court, to the high court, to the court of appeal, and they have failed to get. How do we ensure that the issues are still raised and we are able to engage on other platforms and other avenues? When we are able to come together and engage, learn from each other, understand how we can engage the different forums, we can be able to see that our children get justice, whether it is a child who has been captured into wars, into becoming a child soldier, whether it is a child who has been captured into different places. There are forums at the African Union level that we can take advantage of. We can present reports to the African Committee of Experts on People, or the African the African Commission on People and Human Rights. There's also the procedures under the African Committee of Experts, whether it is a communication, whether it is an investigation that we want them to have, and then we also have the Eastern Africa community, where we have the child policy that gives guidance on how implementation of child rights should be done in the Eastern Africa community. How are we ensuring that Eastern Africa child protection policy has captured everything, even including about the issues around access to justice for the children? And likewise, the IGAD right now, I know for sure that they're engaging on the migration protocols. How do we ensure that when a child is in court on the wrong side of the law and they are migrating, that their rights will still be protected as where you have made sure your country is safe? But what about when they move? What about when they migrate? Because migration continuously happens. And also, the last opportunity that I can present to us is the opportunity for us to have a collective voice for the children. Now, we have been able to engage children and have children even present their own issues that they want to raise to the Committee of Experts, the African Union Committee of Experts on the Rights and Welfare of Children. We've been able to come together as networks and also present the key issues. This platform also presents to us opportunity to have collective voice on what we feel needs to happen on a child getting holistic services in the area of access to justice. It needs to be uniform. How can we push for even if it is a little bit of uniformity, but ensure that whether our child is in Ghana, whether our child is in Morocco, whether our child is in Egypt, Lesotho, Uganda, Kenya, wherever they are, we are sure that the same service will be offered at all the different levels. Thank you very much. I will stop here. I have so much to share, but allow me to stop here for now.
Thank you so much, Damon, and for such an intriguing presentation. And we have learned so much on what to do. So I'm going So these two people, this is Taji and this is Temi. There is a whole platform that helps children to understand the legal framework on how to, and the different court systems from the community level all the way to the international level, and how children can be able to access that. So I will encourage you to go to a link that I am putting on the chat, but that is going to be moving to another platform very soon. But for now, just encourage children to go to that platform. They can be able to learn about Taji and Temi. But you have had, sometimes our justice system, they do fail, but how can CSOs, how can civil society organization partner to ensure that that children still access their justice, okay? They still access justice regardless of what, okay? And that's what Damon is saying. I can't see questions. People, I think, Damon, you presented so well. People don't have questions they're asking you. I can't see questions.
Probably they didn't understand anything I presented.
No, you're such eloquent. So they learned so much. Thank you so much for presenting on what CSOs. One thing that Damon did not mention about UNCR, the Uganda National Child Rights Network, is the current Children's Act. The current one was initiated by the coalition. They did a private member one, and they pushed it and it got passed. That's when the government now was coming through and asking, oh, let us collaborate, when it was in parliament. And for me, that was our motivation in Kenya for the CSOs who are working towards getting a new law, children's law. That was our motivation to say, Uganda did it, we can also do it. So, but thank you so much, Uganda, for being in the front line in pushing child rights in the sub-region and also across Africa. I can't see questions for Damon. So I can't see questions from Damon.
Julian, Jennifer, if I may speak.
Oh yeah, go on, Patrick.
Yeah, basically, though not a question, but since we are all here, I think it is very, very important to note the reason as to why we need to get back together in terms of networking and collaboration. The presentation of Damon, I really like what he has been able to present, and especially where he is indicating the kind of opportunities that are there. When we come to matters to do with the protection of children and ensuring that our children access justice, we need to appreciate that we cannot work as one country, we cannot work as one agency. There is a lot of collaboration that we have to do. You look at what is happening cross-border, there is a lot of interactions that is happening actually between Kenya and Uganda, for instance. And you go to your own countries, wherever you are, you'll see those cross-border interactions. And how well can we come together and ensure that there is enhanced collaboration, enhanced communication, even cross-border, so that our children continue to get the best protection that they can get. Many years back, when I was working in the sector as a social worker, we used to get children from Uganda. Even today, we are still getting children from Uganda. And likewise, I believe the same, our children from Kenya are going to Uganda, and they are in difficult circumstances. We are getting children from our neighbors, Ethiopia, Tanzania. And you go down south, probably, where we have some of the partners, exactly this is what is happening. So we need to look at this. And then the other issue is that Damon brought out is issues to do with advocacy. Advocacy, how much we can be able to do within our East African region and other, for instance, in the South African region. I know SADC is there. What is it that we can be able to come together as CSO and advocate more at the regional level? How much can we be able to do also at the level of the African Committee? And we are bringing these networks together so that we are able to put a strong case for children. access access on justice for children has to be realized at the level of the policy, at the level of advocacy, at the level of administrative, and even at the lower level where we have the frontline officers who are interacting with the children. So we look at that as a broader picture, and you look at whatever the presentations that we have done today from Lesotho coming to at the community level, coming to the court level, what Madam Viora Yatol presented in regard to court users committee, but this other angle that Damon is presenting. So we look at how well we can be able to coordinate our activities. So mine is not so much about a question, but provoking stakeholders seated here to see how well we can enhance our engagement so as to realize the access to justice for our children.
Thank you so much, Patrick, for those things, because we really need to work together. You know, it takes a village, and like a literal village, but also a CSO village or a village in bringing different aspects. And it's important as we push for access to justice that we are taking in consideration that we are bringing all children together. Okay, we are bringing all players so that if a child is getting into the system, whoever they're going to interact with is not going to put them in further harm, okay? That children are going to get the help that they need, okay, without re-traumatizing them, okay? And they can go back to being children as soon as possible. So I'm going to open up this conversation because I can't see questions. I'm just seeing lots of thank you, Damon, for that. So I am going to open up.
There's one question here, but from Nur Ahmed.
Okay. Oh, I would like to ask Damon why no Ugandan has a children's court. That's a good one. That's a good one. Why don't you have a children's court in Uganda, Damon?
I wish I was the government to respond as to why we do not have a children's court. But this is one of the definite things that we need to share as good practice. And when we see this happening in our other countries, we're able to benchmark and tell them that, look, it is working in Lesotho. Look, it's working in Kenya. And then we're able to bring it. And those are the points of advocacy. And this is the beauty of networking. This is what I'm saying. You're able to research, you're able to learn what is happening, what are best practices in other countries. And then we have a basis build our advocacy, our engagements with also the government people to see that this happens. We have started that engagement to see how we can have the courts, children's courts in place. But currently, we have what we call the family court, and it's a family court that handles the issues. My worry is that when you say family court, that means every issue about family goes there. And yet we know that the issues of children can easily get lost when it comes to things around sharing of property and all the other things that are for also adults. But that's definitely something that we are pushing for at national level, that there are children's courts that handle specifically children's issues. We have gender-based violence courts. That's where sometimes they push the issues of children. We have, but the children's court, that one is very unique. And also the issue, as Jenny, you identified, that whole issue of having children as part of the courts at community level, that one for me is a big plus. I think that is evidence of child participation at the for the children. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Damon. And I think for me, it's a learning lesson. And I said for us, I'm looking at the guys who are in the task force here. And I'm thinking, Rosaline, it's something that we need to start asking, can we be able to add that aspect of having a child in the court users committee? Because I don't think in Kenya we have community ones. But if we don't have, is there a way we can be able to establish something that involves children in the process? So children are not just victims, or they are not witnesses. They are also active members in ensuring access to justice. So before we go, we have 5 more minutes. Can I just want in the chat, can you give me a comment on something that you have taken away from this session today, and as Kevin projects where the ACJJ can be found across platforms, and I've seen lots of comments asking for the presentations. So I'm posting a link on the website, on the chat box. So it was live, so you can go and rewatch it. But we'll be we're going to share the presentation in the ACJJ website in the next few weeks. So you'll have a whole resource center, and we'll have all the presentations there where you can be able to download. And if you have registered for this webinar, you're going to be in our email list, and we'll ensure to update you when the website is up and whatever resources that are going to be put up there. So there, and then I just want to, if you want, okay, thank you so much, Eva. If you want to run fast, run alone. If you want to go far, go in a group. Thank you, Emily. Thank you so much. I just want one takeaway. One takeaway from today. Just one takeaway. So just one takeaway: child protection at the community level in cases of diversion. That's very, very, thank you so much, Josephine. Children understand that it's going to on and should be involved in the justice. And thank you so much, Margaret. Thank you so much, Peter, for coming in and joining us today. Thank you so much. Good things pop up, bring calamities. This forum is one of them during this COVID-19. Yes, it's been such a, thank you so much. Yes, COVID-19 has made us think out of the box. Thank you so much, Nairobi, Nakuru Probation Hostels. Thank you so much. Child protection in a community level. Yes, and I think this is one of the biggest takeaway from us from Lesotho. Thank you all. Thank you. So our next forum is in 2 weeks' time. Please mark book. Same time, 10 to 12:30. We're going to share the details of the next webinar. We're going to give more details on the topic. But if you have a topic that you'd want us to tackle, please also put it in the chat. You think we have covered 2 topics already, and we want to do a series for the next up to end of December. So just do let us know what topics do you want us to do around justice, the child justice system. Do let us know, even in the chat. Do let us know what topics you do want us to cover. I have a lot. Just put for us 2 or 3 topics that you want us to cover, and the team behind they will put down, and we'll see what topics we can be able to tackle. Thank you so much, Naima. Okay, children in incarceration. I've seen a topic, children in incarceration justice that do not go through children's court. That's good. Collaboration is key. Thank you. Thank you. Children in the justice system, children as active participants. That's a good topic, Patrick. Children as active participants in the justice system. Thank you so much. Thank you. Social justice versus legal justice. That's a nice topic. The judicial process to access justice. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Judith, comparative analysis on child justice is great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Children in conflict with the law and mental health. Thank you, Yvonne. That's a nice topic. We'll try to bring in that one. Thank you so much. Thank you for your comments. Just keep them coming. Reintegration for children in conflict with the law and the challenges. Thank you, Miriam. Sorry about that. So thank you so much. Thank you. Please let the topics keep on your comments coming in. Thank you so much. And please follow ACJJ across platforms. And if you have any inquiry, info@acjj.africa, on Facebook, Child Justice Africa, on Instagram, Child Justice Africa, on Twitter, Child Justice A, on LinkedIn, Child Justice Africa. So please, the African Council on the African Council on Juvenile Justice. That's why they are on LinkedIn. So do let us know. Please follow. We always have information going out every day, every single day. We have information going out. We have an update at the website, and the platforms are updated every day. And I'm going to give this meeting back to Patrick. Oh yeah, Patrick has just posted. If you want to be a member, there's a link on the chat. Please click there and become a member, and you'll be part of the email list, and you'll be informed whenever we have a new webinar and anything new. So just click on that and you get new information. Thank you very much, everybody. Patrick?
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you to our panelists. I can't thank you enough. Moko Mudeo from Lesotho, we acknowledge you. And when you come in Kenya, we don't call Mudeo, but we call Mudeu. So Mudeu is one of us, very close. Those Kenyan guys, they will understand Mudeu. So feel welcome. Your name is very close associated to us. We also have Madam Honorable Viola Yator, a staunch supporter of children's rights and one of the people that we emulate a lot. Thank you for being and accepting to be part of the panelists. And for sure, Damon, from that side, I know that when we are stepping in Uganda, we have the reach with DRC and almost Angola. So kindly pass our regards that side and bring the network that side. We shall appreciate so much. And I know that you have all those platforms to reach them. And more to it, also to our participants, this could not be realized without you. And what I want to tell our participants is that we shall be there in the next 2 weeks. We are going to have another forum. But can you imagine what makes a change in child protection is the little that you do. Do not look at it as if it is too little. There is a lot that goes into it. So when we join hands, all of us, I, as Patrick, I do my little bit, and you at your corner, you do your little bit. At the end of the day, we are doing quite a lot. We are not out of the woods. We know we can be able to see in our own countries, in our own communities, and in the entire continent of Africa, that there is a lot of abuse that is still happening among children, and therefore we cannot rest. Let us continue doing the little that we are doing, because it is in the little that the bigger things will be realized in the long run. So for now, I have no much to say. I also want to thank our technical team from Toto News, Jennifer and the team, Kevin, and the entire team that was behind this session. Thank you for the work that you have done. And I wish you well. God bless you wherever you are. And we look forward to meeting with you. You can also reach us through the ACJJ email address and also the link that we have shared. Thank you so much. We are open to your suggestions as we move ahead to plan for the next events. Asanteni sana.
Ron?
Jennifer?
Thank you so much, everybody. Let's meet up in 2 weeks' time for another topic. And I can guarantee you we're going to pick up a topic from some of the comments that you have put out through. Thank you so much. John, outro.
Sexual exploitation is a form of child abuse that violates children's rights. It is the use of communication and information through technology as a means to sexually abuse or exploit children. Africa is widely becoming the new frontier for online child sexual abuse, especially in countries with higher internet coverage, including Kenya. Notably, very few countries have laws criminalizing online sex crimes, and those that do frequently fail to enforce them adequately. Online child sexual exploitation can be practiced through various ways, which include child sexual exploitation material, live streaming of child sexual abuse, sexting, and sextortion. The onset of the pandemic has accelerated the increase of child sexual exploitation, with over 1.5 billion students having access to the internet due to online learning, thus making them vulnerable to sexual predators, with girls being the major target. ICTs and the internet have become an integral part of modern life and plays an important role in the educational and social development of children. However, they also expose children to new and evolving forms of sexual exploitation. The global expansion of inexpensive high-speed internet and the growth of smartphones, tablets, and laptop ownership is rocketing the number of children who can be targeted, and new populations coming online often have less awareness of how to spot dangers. The way forward to resolve these evolving issues need our collaborative efforts to enhance online child protection measures through various ways, which include responsive reporting portals and hotlines where suspected abuse can be reported, identifying and investigating offenders, and finally through promoting and enhancing ICT legal frameworks. Governments must therefore prioritize and take the lead in protecting children through collaboration with all relevant stakeholders. Faith communities cannot be left behind in this endeavor.
Recording stopped.